My name is Bill Dory. I served as the mayor of the city of Greencastle from 2016 through 2023. Linda?
I'm Linda Dunbar, and I'm currently the mayor of Greencastle. And prior to becoming mayor, I was clerk treasurer from 2012 until 2023.
The Y Dream actually started probably almost 40 years ago here in Greencastle, and it had been studied on again, off again over the years, and the Wabash Valley Y had a presence here in Greencastle. They ran a number of after-school programs, so people were familiar with the name, but we never had a facility per se. So finally, Sue Murray, who was the mayor prior to my administration, got some conversations started. There were a variety of studies done, including having the National Y come out and do a feasibility study, looked at several sites, came up with a basic program as well as some initial economics of a potential project. We did a community survey as part of that study and had a really strong response, and so that generated enthusiasm for the project. Started looking at sites and realized that 2 of the 3 sites that were selected, they weren't bad sites, but they would never allow for growth once we established a facility. So an opportunity came up to buy what's known as the Ballard Farm, the site where the current Y is. So our redevelopment commission purchased that ground, and then we also built the street out here, which provides access. We sold off some acreage to an industrial client, and then set aside about 14 to 15 acres for the Y, and that would give us room for future expansion, depending on what the community would want to do many years into the future. The downside was that it's not really walkable. It's on our trail system, but it's a little on the edge of town, but it's also close to our industries and things like that. So there's pros and cons about the site. I think a lot of people were hoping that we could have selected a site a little more central in the community, but the reality was we didn't have a site more than about 5 acres available, other than having to go buy a bunch of houses and stuff like that. So it was a little bit of a compromise site, but still a good site that would allow for future expansion. So we engaged Tom and got the ball rolling on the design. We want to have a facility that will function well, do a good job, and one of the reasons we selected Tom as our architect because of his experience in doing other Ys around the state, and also him serving on the board of directors of Y, who was seeing the financial statements, what was costing money, and things like that, and the overall maintenance of a facility, so that helped. During this whole process, though, the state changed their rules for redevelopment commissions. And previously, our commission was established many years ago and did not have a sunset. State statute changed and put a sunset on our TIF areas. So in order to protect our future revenue coming in from TIF, we had to sell a bond issue. So we sold a small bond issue, and that protected our revenue out to 2040, knowing that if we proceeded with the Community Wellness Center, that we would have to sell a bond to help finance the construction. And we ended up roughly about half the cost of the project was paid in cash, money we saved up or accumulated, and the other half was financed. We had, through our redevelopment commission, we had the ability to build the facility, but we didn't have the ability to maintain it under state statute. So instead, we went out and did a fundraising campaign for startup costs and to establish an endowment so that some of the operating costs could be covered by the endowment income. And we had developed a partnership with Putnam County Community Foundation, and they provided a matching gift of $500,000 to kick off that campaign to raise money for the endowment. I think we ended up raising about $1.5 million, and there's still some donations coming in that regard. Now, the endowment is set up so that it stays with the building. It doesn't belong to the Y per se. So that, for example, something would happen and the Y goes out of business and we get another Y to come in, or a Boys and Girls Club, that endowment will still benefit this facility in the long term. Now the other thing is, when we set the building is owned by the Redevelopment Commission and the city, and it's set up on a nominal lease for the Y, but they have to put together a sinking fund for long-term maintenance. So instead of paying us rent, they're setting aside money for future capital replacements, air conditioners, carpeting, yada, yada, yada. The hospital section of the building, so overall the hospital section is about 10,000 square feet, the Y is about 60,000 square feet. The hospital section pays a slightly below market-based rent. They also have to maintain their building, their equipment, and then their rent helps to cover the bond issue cost. So having these financing structure, we had really good financial advisors, really good legal assistants to help us put this crazy thing together. And one of our bid options was the second gymnasium, and City Council said, if we're going to do it, let's just do it and do it the first time. So yes, it increased the cost, but it's given a lot more flexibility to the facility.
Well, I think one of the main points that he makes is the addition of the gym. So I think even though it was a cost driver in the whole project, the Y has so much more functionality by having the additional gym. So that was a great decision, and it did increase costs, but I think it's really given us a great final project.
During the process, COVID hit. That didn't help us. It delayed the project, increased costs, because there was just so much uncertainty. Nobody knew what was happening. Hindsight being 2020, we should have just pushed forward, but it's easy to realize that 2 years after the disaster we were going through with COVID. Then during the process, we hit some wet soils out here, which slowed construction a bit. Unfortunately, we had a soils engineer that perhaps didn't give us the best advice we deserved, and we had to engage another firm to assist us with that. But despite being a little behind, I think overall there was a lot of teamwork in this.
When I took office, we had gotten through the wet soils, and we had construction going on, and so we had we're really underway, and it went up pretty flawless. We had some. The biggest setback we had was the delay of time from the soils, and that did create some extra cost to it. But we worked through it, and really, I thought the construction phase was pretty smooth, and people were getting super excited about the facility as it started to grow out here. And yeah, so I thought the construction part went pretty smoothly. The city did get a lot of criticism from the folks here about the Y not having a pool. But we have a university here in the city, and at the time there was a Lilly grant that DePaul University could apply for, up to $25 million. And so one day I walked into the Lilly grant meeting, and they said, what do you think about putting a swimming pool at the YMCA if we can get the $9 million to put it in? Because that was kind of the guesstimate that was given, that it'd be about $9–10 million to build a pool. And I said, hey, that would be great. I would love to see a pool. And so we started the process, and they added the money that was put into the project, the $28 million that this facility cost, as part of the match for asking for $9 million. And so in that process, we went through the Lilly grant process, and the university was actually awarded $32 million. And the unique thing about that is the whole issue with the pool was, how do we maintain the pool for future use? And so the university earmarked about $10 million with $1 million going into the community foundation, just like the maintenance costs from the Ys going in, to help maintain the pool forever.
In terms of the pool too, I think we have to give special deference to Lilly Endowment. My experience in writing grants during my career was, once you've expended money on a project, you can't count that as match. I've never had a grant where money that's been committed or in process of being spent is allowed to be matched. Well, Lilly Endowment can make their own rules, and so we appreciate them being flexible in their rules and using money that was in the process of being expended, because the application happened while this facility was under construction. Contracts have been signed even prior to the application going in, and so Lilly, in their review of the application, saw something and believed in our community that allowed them to support the expansion of this facility. A lot of people ask us, well, why doesn't the city just build and operate it? Well, we don't have a large enough Parks Department nor a large enough Parks Department budget to do such a thing. So the other thing is, if it were city owned and operated, the expectation is it would be free for everybody. And then, it's one thing to be free for the city of Greencastle residents, but how do you deal with people out in the county that don't pay city taxes but are benefiting from city expenditures? So the thought was, let's partner with somebody that people understand they have to pay a membership fee, they have a great reputation, and things like that. So the why was definitely a natural. This community has done a lot of interesting things over the years in terms of community partnerships. Our redevelopment commission has been in place since 1995, and we were the first community in the state of Indiana to use a redevelopment commission to expand a county airport through an interlocal agreement between our city redevelopment commission and our county board of aviation commissioners, and as well as the county council and county commissioners. There have been a whole number of other projects that have gone on in this community that represent a lot of different partnerships in various ways and shapes and forms. So
since we've had the Y, and since I've taken over mayor, we have been really contacted by a lot of different commercial developers. And I think a lot of it is attributed to the fact that we have this new YMCA out here. Because I'll be honest with you, they come and visit, we take them around town, either at the beginning of our trip or the end of the trip. We always end up here at the YMCA. And we get out of the car, we walk through, and usually their reaction is, wow, this is really amazing. And so it's become this real cornerstone out here on the east side of Greencastle. And we do have some property that surrounds us that is commercial property. And it's really become this catalyst in getting folks to come and actually take a look and drive around Greencastle for future development. So we hope here in a couple of months we're going to have some announcements of a couple of businesses and that are coming, and in the numbers we did have the YMCA membership, and because they're looking for areas that people come and concentrate and come by their places of business. And so we have a lot of traffic now that's coming to the YMCA, and the developers are starting to take notice. So we think that since we've gotten the YMCA has helped with the interest of. I think, boy, this has exceeded anybody's expectation of what the YMCA or the community center was going to be for the city of Greencastle. And I really think that it's even exceeded some of the surrounding counties about what has happened in Greencastle. And so I think people are amazed as to what we were able to accomplish out here on our 15 acres of land out here, and then to just turn around and have the ability and to actually partner with the university to get this pool in. And so I think it's almost like they can't say it's too good to be true because it's actually happening here. And so I think it's kind of given people a different look on how we can all come together and build such an outstanding, beautiful building that people, I think probably the thing I'm most surprised about is how membership has just exceeded all expectation. And I think they say that, you know, we should see another 15-20% boost when the pool goes in. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen about what's happened. And I think if you feel like you really have a lot of community support behind you, sometimes you just got to take the risk and do it. You just have to do it. So, and I think it was a good risk that the city took in you know, getting this building built.
The way TIF works is it's not an impact on the individual taxpayers, and
yep.
with the 1% property tax caps, it doesn't impact.
Yeah, it doesn't impact them at all. So I grew up in Greencastle, and I lived here all my life, moved away for a little bit and then moved back. But when I was a kid, we would have to go to an elementary school and play basketball in the mornings. It was, you know, and that was only because the principal was willing to come in and open the door. Now our kids can have access to come out here and play ball or do whatever. So we've come a long ways from playing basketball in a small elementary school 50 years ago to now having a facility where our kids can really come and play basketball with their friends.
Linda mentioned the potential for other development out here. When we bought the Ballard Farm, we purchased 72 acres, and so 15 was reserved for the Y. We sold off another 20 plus to an industrial client south of Walmart, and there's about 10 acres that could support commercial development. And part of the reason, you know, we knew building the Y and putting some infrastructure in was going to add value. So hopefully, you know, in the future when that land is sold, that then reimburses the redevelopment commission for the initial property purchase and to help underwrite some of the infrastructure costs that were put in to support this.